Hi, dearest overthinker. Welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. For those of you who are new here, my name's Abir, and I started this podcast just as a means for me to connect with other people by talking about what I'm feeling, hopefully with the intention of making them feel less alone and even reassured. So, without further ado, let's get started with today's topic. As you can probably see from the title itself, we're going to be talking about letting go. And letting go is this universal experience that is unforgiving, unspeakable when it happens to us. It's like the most heartbreaking betrayal we feel. Okay, unless you're just built different and you refuse to connect with any other person and built, just feel close to another person, you'll never have to undergo letting go. But you saw what I did there? Undergo that. Anyways.
Some days I am just on fire. What can I say?
So, if you're just built different, you're on your own at that one. But for most of us people, letting go is like this unavoidable, unforgiving fate, and this human soul must endure it many, many times in its lifetime, just because it very ironically attaches itself to certain things. We feel the need to yearn for certain people. We crave for connection. And even though by definition letting go is to relinquish one's grip on something or someone, it doesn't do nearly enough justice to the emotional turmoil and heartbreak we go through in the process of letting go. To be honest, the reason why we find it so difficult to let go is because we're trying to hold on at the same time. Because somewhere along the journey, we've rooted our self-worth, self-identity into this person, and that's why when the time comes where we understand that this person isn't good for us, this is just a really bad habit and it's not taking me anywhere, we're just maybe one more day, but what if? And this brings me to my own invention called the eternal loop of justification. And it is my own invention. If anyone else has come up with anything similar in the past, they're a cheat, they're a fraud, and they need to go to jail. Truly, be so for real. Anyways, so the eternal loop of justification is a method in which we cope with not letting go. We start off with the sentence, maybe it's not you, it's me, right? We find a reason why someone can treat us a certain way. For example, if I were to take a friend, right? The reason why my friend isn't calling me back, they aren't messaging me back, despite my many attempts to hang out with them, they just never reciprocate, and they keep treating me like a side chick, right? But it's justified because maybe I'm not interesting like the other friends, maybe they're really busy and other things are more important to them. Maybe their other friends are more fun. So we keep coming up with these justifications because we think there's a shortcoming in us, and hence it's understandable why they're treating us this way. And then we also end with the same sort of justification where we're just oh no, but they do show up for us in said manner, but they got us a really nice birthday gift for our birthday, but they didn't message me when I was sick, so it's okay because it's good enough. Letting go is far too scary because then we're riddled with these what ifs. What if no one will understand me? What if no one will ever love me again? What if no one treats me like how they treat me? What if no one ever sees me again? And the wildest thing is that there are 8 billion people in the world. That has 9 zeros. 9 zeros. It's not a matter of the fact that there will never be anyone else who will understand you in that way, who will see you in that way. It's just a matter of the fact that you've never met anyone in your life so far who has made you feel that way. But that's not true for the future. You have so much more life to experience, And the reason we root our self-worth and self-identity into certain people, into certain things, is because we feel the need to outsource our worth, as though it's only our self-worth only exists if someone else tells it to us, a third-party person, only when they say you're good enough, you're funny enough, you're lovable enough. And when you say it out loud, it kind of sounds silly, but it is true. If someone else wants to account for my personality and my existence and acknowledge it, then what's the point? Then obviously I'm not being perceived for the person I am, right? If they don't think I'm funny enough, if someone else doesn't think I'm intelligent enough, that means I'm not. And so I keep having to put up with this facade. I have to be intelligent enough, so enough.
Can you say magnetic. Just keep going. Charismatic.
Intelligent enough, funny enough, sociable enough. I can't be too much of anything because then I'm pretentious, but I can't seem like I have no personality either. So I have to have this middling ground, as though my own existence, as though my personality is social suicide. And we want to feel loved. We can even argue it's human nature, you know. We want to be seen, we want to feel acknowledged. But the reason it's become like this immense need that we must act a certain way, the way like we must follow certain trends, and if we act like ourselves, we literally will be rejected by society. The crippling fear that we do have is truly because we do not have enough love for ourselves. And it may sound a little bit cliche, but it is true. So we must sit with that. We should sit with that sort of discomfort of not having enough love for ourselves, not being comfortable within our own skin, because at that point we kind of give someone else, something else, that sort of power over us to dictate our self-worth, and that's so scary. That's terrifying. And it's all superficial. It's not really real. Like this perceived sense of self-worth that is outsourced. And this feeling isn't just exclusive to relationships with people, but also to things. I think academic validation is one of those things as well, because any sort of validation, to say for that matter, is just that you outsourcing your worth via this category. And academic validation is one of those things. Personally, I've cried over more tests than I have over people, right? It's because when I do badly on a test, I'm just like, I'm so stupid, I'm dumb, I'm worthless, like, and it's really dramatic. 100%, it's the Bollywood in me. Like, I've said this before, right? I'm gonna have a little bit of masala to me, but the reason like why I feel this way is because I'm just like, of this academic validation is where I think that I'll only be intelligent if I do well on the certain exam. And especially when I make stupid mistakes, I feel like Dobby in Chamber of Secrets to say, Dobby, stop, Dobby. It's just like this really silly thing where we just like keep beating ourselves up for things that are really normal because we're outsourcing our worth. And that happens with jobs as well, with internships, and we just need to learn to let go, because we can't change the outcome of that. We can just move forward, right? We can keep holding on to it, obviously we can, and make ourselves feel miserable, but we must learn to let it go and move forward. So now we've established that other things and other people having power over you is a scary, terrifying thing. So after we've acknowledged it, now what does one do? That brings me to the last bit of this podcast. Number one, let the person who clearly couldn't care less about your feelings, your time, your space, your energy, let them behave that way. They couldn't respect your boundaries, let them, because there is enough intention in no action at all, right? Especially if you've already explained to them that it makes you feel miserable, you feel misheard, you feel like your perspective is never taken into consideration. Let them behave that way, because like that is a intentional purposeful act. Let it go. You do not need to expend your energy into explaining to someone else that you matter, into explaining to someone else that they must take your perspective into consideration. That's so silly. Number two, let go and grieve it. You know, let go of love that wasn't returned, let go of friendships that weren't reciprocated, let go of that stupid exam you didn't do too well in, let go of things that no longer serve you, you know, even to the extent, let go of the person you were that allowed other people to walk all over them, that allowed other people to disrespect them. Let that go, let all of it go, you know. And it's never going to be easy, of course not, you know. It's going to be heartbreaking, it's going to be painful, you're going to feel sad, you're probably even going to miss people and miss things in the future. But at one point you have to make that decision for yourself that I do not want to be loved this way any longer, I do not want to be treated this way, I do not want to be respected this way. You must have enough love and appreciation for yourself and respect for yourself to understand that this is not the situation you want to be in, and you must walk out. And it's going to be difficult, as it would be, right? Of course, you've rooted your self-identity and self-worth into something. No one expects it to be easy, and that's why letting go is so heartbreaking. But we must let go. We must let go of things that don't serve us anymore, and that's where real growth is, you know, in letting go and being okay with it. Number 3, redefine yourself. The world's never gonna agree on a definition of you. Someone's always gonna think you're old, another person's gonna think you're young, someone's gonna think you're smart, while another's gonna think you're stupid. So find out who you are from yourself. Define yourself without all the materialistic things, just by your values and by what you stand for. And at the moment, you might not entirely understand that. You might not necessarily understand everything you stand for, but you can start off by understanding what you don't stand for, what you're not cool with, and use that as a personal guidebook. And also remember that to treat yourself how you want to be treated. Be your own protagonist of your story, you know. Be so appreciative and lovable of yourself, because if someone else sees that, if someone else sees that you're so self-respecting and so like self-loving, then they will also understand that they can't just walk all over you, they can't give you bullshit, you know. And when you hold yourself to that standard, other people will also think that either they need to hold themselves to that standard and treat you a certain way as well. Your existence and presence in itself matters. You do not have to put up a facade, and it's something that we all struggle with so much. When we're 50, I've seen, like, when people get old, they still struggle with putting up this facade. But true liberation exists when you have enough appreciation for yourself and acknowledgement of everything you've gone through, that you're just content and you're like, this is how I am and I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna be, if people dislike me, that's okay. If people love me, that's brilliant. But I'm happy with how I am, you know. Fine, if you're unhappy with yourself, fine, change, but don't dictate that of what other people think, you know. If you're content with how you are, then that's good enough, truly. And you don't matter, and your right to be loved and acknowledged does not exist because other people need to see it. Their inability to see your worth doesn't dictate it. Your presence and existence in itself should be acknowledged. In itself should you matter. So remember that, and remember that true freedom is when you are rid of all these standards and expectations of other people, and you just live according to how you want to live. Last but not least, I'd like to end with saying something I saw on TikTok when TikTok was doing its thing and being really wise and profound, and it goes a little something like this: leave and remember there are seats for you at tables you've never seen before. And I think in essence that's so cute and simple and true, because we have so much more of life to experience. We have so many more things to go through, and in the future we will have to let go of other people. We will have to let go of certain things as well. But hopefully it won't be as difficult, because we won't have our self-worth rooted in it and our self-identity either. And it's kind of exciting looking forward to this futuristic version of ourselves that has it a little bit more figured out than we do right now. Because remember, you know, when you let go of things that don't align with you, that don't serve you and aren't meant for you, you will make space for things that are meant for you, you know. So that's all for today, and that's yours truly, Umber. I will see you next week, dearest overthinker. Bye bye.